Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play, cause y'all gon' make the money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on purpose.
I don't like no soldiers. The Spirit of the Lord, we don't like no soldiers.
Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ and they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love. Scripture say you hate African soft niggas. They know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell, toilet connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We live in bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk gave them, man, this shit is absurd. You should never let your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, any murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. There's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Como después le realiza el conocimiento práctico universal, hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commander General Yohana ESP. This is what Commander General Yohana. This is what he
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. That's right.
You know how we do it, Commander General, feed the people, down here in Trinidad. You see what's going on. With the rain right now and fund the child, the people right now, real bad. So again, big ups Commander General Yana, for all, the work that put in over the years, that we could raise up, young black men down here in Trinidad, and he could do the same as well in his footsteps.
And fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take ground till I stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I stand down. Take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We would not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, and let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made merchandise, how to buy bills. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take ground. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool zone. Go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I stand down. Take ground.
got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look.
See the eyes, it's time to Bogart. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the pop ball. Fuck what they heard, when tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above ambush. Fierce taste sweet, told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad, telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus out there, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no change. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Your mother niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that so dirty that handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wait that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with Yara, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than baby's kid. Remember I dropped quiet stone, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shem Yoshai Barakatah to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemai Latan, Bashem Yoshai to all the sisters. Christian Officer Matt Koyak of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, right here in Point Fortin, right at light pole number 1, Morris Street. For more information on the school, if you'd like to give donations to the school, you know, it could be canned goods, clothes, whatsoever the case might be. You can contact Officer Sowapiala, who is the camp leader over the school at 479-8286. Or you could also contact the captain over the school, Captain Mashak Mayam at number 1202-701-4640. Right? Be sure to check all our social media pages. I speak in Trinidad on all social media to keep up to date with what's going on in Trinidad when it comes to the Israelites of the Bible and the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Right? Our upcoming high holy days in memorial blowing of trumpets. That is on Sunday, the 21st of September, 2021 at sundown. Right? You can find that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Right? Again, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, what we teach the truth according to the Bible. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And the Bible is our book, the Bible is our history, the Bible is our culture. Most people today, they still believe that the King James Version Bible is not the Bible to be used because, of course, they have New King James Version, they have NIV version, and many different versions of the Bible. But, of course, the King James Version with the Apocrypha in it, because most people go to church with the Bible, right, with the Old Testament and the New. But the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, right? The Apocrypha was taken out of the Bible by the Catholic Church. The Apocrypha is to be fitted between the Old and the New Testament, right? We'll get into that at the time going along. But most people still say that, you know, the Bible is not accurate and the Bible is not really relevant, right? And that is the fault of the Christian church, because the Christian church is supposed to be the ones that is giving our people, which is black people, the truth of the Bible. You understand? Giving them the history, the archaeology, and stuff like that, right? If somebody could hold the book of Hosea Babakosha, chapter 4, we will start at verse 6.
All right, tonight's class will be the King James Version Bible. It is authentic, and it is the Black Man book. We're going to go through some of the things that Slack, is it? Yeah, get it right there. Right? We're going to go through a few of the Bibles and their authenticity, because some people believe that these Bibles still relevant. They could use it to cross-reference with the King James Version Bible, you understand, or with different archaeology and stuff like that. But in actuality, these Bibles, without the knowledge, without the history, without the understanding, you're going to realize people will make these statements, but when you actually do the little homework or you do the little history, you're going to realize this Bible is not accurate to the King James Version Bible. This Bible is not for those Bibles, is not for our people, right? Give me the book of Hosea, Baba Kusha. You could start at Hosea chapter 4. We'll start at verse 6, right?
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right? The Lord is telling us that our people, right? When you look, you see that the Lord is saying, my people being possessive, which means that the Lord has a people, right? Contrary to what Christian church may teach, that the Lord is dealing with all nations, every race on the planet. That is not so. The Lord saying that he has a people. That's why he say, my people. Will you come it up again, Baba Kisha?
The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
So the Lord is saying that his people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, is the Lord's chosen people, the 12 tribes, you understand, of the nation of Israel. The Lord is saying that his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You understand? What is knowledge? Knowledge is facts or information. You understand? Skills acquired through experience or education that our people lack. You understand? We don't have the facts of who we are. We don't have the facts of the Bible. We don't have the information of our nation the way that our nation used to run or used to be. You understand how our nation was? We don't have that. But of course, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are coming and giving the people that knowledge, that understanding, how the Lord intended to be. You understand? In order for our nation to run the way that the Lord wanted to run, how it's supposed to be, before these heathens took it over. Right? So the Lord is saying, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We don't know our culture. We don't know our history. We don't know who we are as a people. We don't understand how a nation should run. We don't understand how we should deal with each other. We don't understand a lot of different things about the 12 tribes, about our nation, about our homeland, because of course, our homeland is not Africa. Our homeland is in Jerusalem. You understand? The Lord is saying we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Go ahead.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
So because we have rejected the knowledge of the Most High, because we go into all these other different religions, all these different philosophies, you understand? All these cultures of these other nations, the Lord is saying, because we have rejected knowledge, go ahead.
I will also reject thee.
You will what?
I will also reject thee.
The Lord is saying that he's going to reject us. You understand? We are going to continue being lost in all these other doctrines and philosophies. You understand? Go ahead.
That thou be no priest to me.
That thou be what?
That thou be no priest to me.
Because we in the Israelite School of the Universal Practical Knowledge, we are the priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? Not the Christian pastor, not those religious leaders. The men in the ISUPK, they are the priests of the Lord. Go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power.
Seeing that what?
Thou hast forgotten the law of thy power.
Seeing that we have forgotten the law of the Most High, the Lord of our God, the Lord of our power. You understand? The Christian church teaches the laws of God done away with. That is not so. In this book, there are rules, laws, and regulations, laws, commandments, and statutes for the Black man, Hispanic, and Native Indian to follow. But we reject the things of the Most High and cleave on to the cultures of these other nations. Go ahead.
I will also forget thy children.
The Lord say what?
I will also forget thy children.
The Lord is saying that he will also forget our children. The seed of our foreparents to us and going down, the Lord is going to forget us. But we as a people have to understand that this book belongs to us. This book holds our culture, our history, our heritage. This book hold the laws for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to follow. Give me the book of Psalms, Babakusha. 83, we'll start at verse 1. This book hold the laws for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to follow. These other nations is not to teach the Black man, the Hispanic man, or the Native Indian man this Bible. You understand? Because when you go through the history of Israel, the history of Black people, you're going to see whereby these nations, they came together to make sure that Black people do not know who they are, do not understand their culture, do not understand their history or their heritage, do not understand the laws of this Bible. These nations came together, and even when we start to go into the different versions of the Bible, for us to understand these nations, these oppressors, they had a great hand in making the Bible not understandable for you and I to follow. From since way back when, they was already doing that. You understand? But as we're going further, you're going to understand that the Bible was correctly and accurately translated so that you and I could read it and understand it today. Right? When you have it, read Babakusha.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Most High.
So King David, our king, is telling the Most High to keep not thou silence. Don't be quiet. Because our king understands that the Lord moves, the Lord does things when it comes to his people. You understand? When you start to read the Bible, you start getting the understanding of the Bible, you're going to understand that the Lord does things through storms, hurricanes, earthquakes, and all these different things. You understand? King David is saying, don't be silent against what is happening to your people, to my brethren. Go ahead.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power.
So he's saying, hold not thy peace. Don't be quiet. Don't be still. You have to do something at what's happening to our nation, to our people, to your people. Go ahead.
For lo.
For what?
For lo.
For he's saying, for look. Look at what's happening. Go ahead.
Thine enemies
Thine who?
make a tumult.
Thine who?
Thine enemies.
The Lord, that is letting him know that the Lord has enemies. He is saying, thine enemies make a tumult. Thine enemies make a gathering. You understand? Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people have to understand that the Lord has enemies. If the Lord have enemies, these are your enemies also, because you are his people. You're supposed to be doing the things of the Lord and not of the enemies. Go ahead.
And they that hate thee.
They that what?
And they that hate
and
thee.
These other nations, they hate the Most High. That is why King David is saying, and they that hate thee. Go ahead.
Have lifted up the head.
They have begun to get proud. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel against the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. What are some of the crafty counsels? Making different versions of the Bible. You understand? So the black man now is confused. What is crafty counsel? Lumping us all into one, meaning you can intermarry to these other nations. The Bible is for everybody. Africa is your homeland. Abortion clinics in every ghetto. Churches in every ghetto. Drugs and guns coming into the ghettos where Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are. The education system where you're supposed to be learning about your culture and your history, it have none. Financial literacy, it have none. When it comes to one's health, none. They have taken crafty counsel. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against the hidden ones. Why the hidden ones? Is because black people don't understand who they are. Nobody knows who are the true Jews today. You understand? Nobody knows where the true Jews are. In the ISUPK, when you go into the Bible, you're going to understand that the true Jews is not in Israel today. They are the ones that are scattered to the four corners of the earth. The way the Lord spoke it, by the way Moses gave us and told us how it's going to happen, that is exactly what happened to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. We are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Black people don't know their culture, they don't know their history, they're lost. You understand? We are the hidden ones, going around with different identities, black, colored, Negro. You understand? Cockroach, pest. We are the hidden ones. We are the hidden gems of the earth. Go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So they have come together and they say, see, this nation are people, the Lord's chosen people, and we cut them off from being a nation. They took crafty counsel, you understand, against the Lord people, and now they're saying, come, we cut them off from being that nation, who they are. And remember, if they say, no, to cut off a whole nation, that is not today for tomorrow. That is over a period of time. You understand? So these nations come together over a lengthy period of time, over generations, and keep working on the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, the Lord's chosen people. They cut them off from being a nation. Now there's no more a nation. There's no more that people who the Lord said that they're going to say, surely these are wise and understanding people. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel,
The name of Israel, Yasharallah in the Hebrew, go ahead.
May be no more in remembrance.
Nobody going to know who the prince of the power is. Nobody is going to know who the Lord's 12 tribes of Israel is. You understand? These nations come together and they did that to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now we think we separate. We don't know Venezuelans is our family, Mexicans is our family, the Haitians is our family, Jamaicans is our family. We're not just talking about family because we color our skin. We're talking about that bloodline. That bloodline of people, we are family, blood family. You understand? These nations come together and separate us. They cut us off from being that nation. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
Consulted together, one consent, one mindset, one mind frame. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
Tabernacles of the so-called white man, the Caucasians, the oppressor. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites, of Moab.
Go ahead, of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
The Ishmaelites, the Arabs of Moab. Moab is the Chinese. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, the Hagarenes is the Africans. Go ahead.
Gebal. And Ammon.
The Japanese. Go ahead.
And Amalek.
And those fake Jews that is in Israel right now. Amalek. Go ahead.
The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Go ahead.
Assyria also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot.
Hold it right in. I think I've gone too far. But when we go back to the tabernacles of Edom, it's talking about the so-called white man, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs of Moab, and the Hagarenes. These nations, they come together. They come together to make sure that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do not know who they are. You understand? And our King David is praying to the Most High and telling him, don't keep silent. Watch what happening to black people. You understand? Watch what's going on with them. We as a people, we have to return to the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. But if we don't know, you understand? For lack of knowledge, we don't know that this book belongs to us. It's obviously going to be tied up in the doctrines and philosophies of these other nations. You understand? Give me Isaiah 34, verse 16, Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
Seek ye out of the book of the Most High and read.
You understand? The prophet Isaiah is letting us know. We have to go into this book, seek it out, and do what? Read. Seek it out. Start understanding the things that the Most High wants us to do. Start understanding our history, our culture. Start understanding the prophecies that had already come to pass and the things that is coming to pass. You understand? How we as black people have to get our spirit and ourselves right. How we as a people supposed to gather together as a nation, as the book of Zephaniah says, gather together our nation not desired. You understand? We have to go into this book and read. Go ahead.
No one of these shall fail.
Lord is telling you, not what? None of these is going to fail. No prophecy, no commandment, no law, no statute. The Lord is saying none is going to fail. You understand? Go ahead.
None shall want her mate.
None shall what?
None shall want her mate.
You would not to use one Bible to reference with our next Bible, as the people outside say, as the Christians say. You would not have to use one book to tie it back in to make sure that this book is valid. The Lord is telling you none is going to want its mate. The Bible don't need no other Bible to intertwine with it to make sure that is right. You understand? None is going to want to meet. Go ahead.
For my mouth it had commanded.
For what?
For my mouth it had commanded.
The Lord is saying for his mouth had commanded it. So if the Lord is saying that none shall want to meet, none is going to want to meet. Go ahead.
And his spirit it had gathered them.
And his spirit had do what?
Gathered them.
And his spirit, the Most High Spirit, had gathered them. We as a people, Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians, we are going to be gathered back into that one body, that one bloodline. You understand? Which is the children of Israel. Now I'm going to play something here, right? It won't be long. It's a few minutes for you to understand something, right? The oppressor knows that the Bible, King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha in it, he knows that is the most accurate Bible. You understand? He knows that. But most of us, as black people, we still believe that, you know, King James was a white man, or King James was from the alternative lifestyle and stuff like that, right? When that ain't so. Let me just share the screen. Right? When that ain't so. But we're going to read, we're going to listen to this video, and then I'm going to read some passages from a book that this oppressor wrote. And you're going to see the different Bibles, you understand, and where they had failed. Then we're going to read about the King James Version Bible, right? So let me take in this a little bit.
Gordon Campbell, and I teach at the University of Leicester. The Bible publishing is a
Just now, hold 1 minute. I think again some little audio problem.
I'm Gordon Campbell, and I teach at the University of Leicester. The Bible that we are publishing is a version of the Bible published in 1611, so it's 400 years old this year. This edition is in many ways the most authentic possible version of the 1611 Bible. It differs from that Bible in one important respect, and that is the typeface. The original font of the King James Bible is black letter, which is sometimes known as Gothic, and it's very difficult for modern readers to read. We've therefore reset the text in Roman type, which is easy to read. Now that...
All right, I'm going to play it for the top, right? Because the audio was off in the class here, so I'll play it from the top one more time.
I'm Gordon Campbell, and I teach at the University of Leicester. The Bible that we are publishing is a version of the Bible published in 1611, so it's 400 years old this year. This edition is in many ways the most authentic possible version of the 1611 Bible.
So now, what he's saying is that this version that are going to publish for the 400 edition is close to the 1611 Bible. Right? Now, it shouldn't have no need to publish a next edition of the King James Version that bringing it close to the original. It's better you just use the original and done, right? But again, the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. But let me listen to what he said.
It differs from that Bible in one important respect, and that is the typeface. The original font of the King James Bible is black letter, which is sometimes known as Gothic, and it's very difficult for modern readers to read. We've therefore reset the text in Roman type, which is easy to read. Now that process has been exactly done, word
right. So one thing they did, they just changed the font of the text
for word and letter for letter. And if, for example, a letter is printed upside down, as sometimes happens in the original, then we have been lovingly faithful to that mistake, and we too have printed the letters upside down. The second area in which we have retained it, unlike any other reprinting, which attempts to recapture the original, is that we have kept the pictorial letters that open each chapter of the Bible.
So in this new edition, they're printing, they keep the letters.
Many of these
Pictorial
contain
letters.
classical allusions, and many indeed link the figures, such as the evangelists, to other parts of the Bible in imaginative ways that are lost in modern editions of the Bible. The contents of the Bible are surprising in several ways to people who read the King James Version now. One is that the original 1611 version has 74 pages of preliminaries, including genealogies, for example, that run from Adam to Christ, and including maps of the Holy Land, ways of calculating Easter, perpetual calendars.
Right, so they're saying that the original Bible, it had ways to calculate or follow the genealogy. You understand? He mentioned Easter, but it's not Easter, it's the Passover, right? When they go into the 1611 version, you're seeing that it have you could translate it over to Passover, right? So there's what he's saying here, right? Let me go ahead and know.
These things are all omitted from modern editions, and yet they are an integral part of the Bible as it was published in 1611. And we include all of that. The other element that might surprise a modern reader is that we also include the Apocrypha printed between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Right, so the Apocrypha was in the old edition, the 1611 edition, but they're making this new version for the 400th anniversary, but they're saying they're putting the Apocrypha in it. But remember, it was already there.
Now, this no longer happens. The Apocrypha was dropped from Bibles by the British and Foreign Bible Society in the 19th century. But until then, all Bibles in the King James Version contained the Apocrypha, and so we include it here because it's part of the original.
Right, so you're saying that they included in the edition they're going to do, but remember, it was already part of the original, which is the 1611, right? So now, when you have a Bible, you have to make sure that the Bible you have, it had the Apocrypha in it, which is very important.
Now, the printing of the King James Bible achieved a very high standard, but that doesn't mean there aren't mistakes. Indeed, there are about 350 printing errors, the most obvious of which is a verse, 3 lines in the book of Ruth.
Right, so we say not the original, his version, the 400th anniversary, what they're doing, it have the printing errors in it, right? It have double verses and stuff like that.
That are accidentally printed twice. And these errors have been gradually eliminated from Bibles, although other new ones have been introduced. But what I've done in this case is given a simple list of the 350 errors so that readers can see the starting point of the Bible that has become the modern edition of it. Now, the characteristic of this Bible that I think I would most like to leave you with is that it was, as it said on the title page, appointed to be read in churches. To put that another way, it was a Bible that was translated with the express purpose of being read aloud. So it was read aloud in churches, in cathedrals, and indeed in private households, where the head of the house would read the Bible during family devotions. It is this that accounts for the rhythms of the authorized version, the King James Version. It accounts for its grammar. It accounts for its punctuation. It's meant to be read aloud. And I hope very much that as you read this Bible, you will attempt to read it aloud as was intended in the 17th century. You'll find it's easy to remember if you do it that way. And I wish you pleasure of examining this, the most authentic of 17th century Bibles.
Right, so you're precise saying that this new edition that they're bringing out, the 400th year edition, you understand they're going to include the Apocrypha in it. But remember, the King James Version with the Apocrypha from 1611, it always had the Apocrypha in it. You understand? No need to go and make no new edition to put back the same thing in it. More or less, what you're precise saying is just that they want their name to be on the Bible. It's like how they say King James Version, although King James, many people say King James write the Bible, he didn't write the Bible, they want to take claim to it now. You understand? So if his name is, let me say his name is Bell, the Bell version of the Bible. You understand? But of course, the King James Version is the most accurate. Now, that same oppressor, he wrote a book, right? Talking about the different Bibles. The Bibles that stand in different areas, coming right down to the King James Version Bible. Now, we go just touch on a few of them, and then we're going to go to the King James Version and show you how that is the most accurate version, right? So now they're telling you the Bible in English. They wanted to translate the Bible from the Hebrew and Greek into English, right? So different, over the years, different oppressors, they came trying to translate this text from the Hebrew, from the Latin, from the Greek, to put it into English so that they could understand, or the church could understand what's happening, right? So now we're going to read a little article from his book, right? He's saying the language of England before the Norman conquest, of course, the Norman conquest, that will be when the French invaded England, right? Of 1066 is variously known as Old English or Anglo-Saxon. To the untrained eye, it does not look very much like English. So the opening line of the Lord's Prayer, Our Father which art in heaven, in the King James Version, as translated into the Messian dialect of Old English, which is spoken in the English Midlands, is Fade Ori Popi in Hufum, Iraq. That is how it writes, right? I wish I could have showed it on the screen here right now so you will see it like if somebody watching it from today's perspective, right? This looks impossible to read because of the archaic letters, but once it is understood, AE is the vowel sound that H-A-T, in H-A-T, P is the TH sound in thin, and D is the TH sound in width. The words become recognizable. So once you could understand that writing, then you will understand what they're saying, right? There was no complete translation of the Bible into Old English, but parts of the Bible were translated for specific purposes. So the same parts of that Bible now was translated just for specific purpose, right? Sermons delivered in parish churches, for example, quoted passages of scripture, but as the only available Bibles were in Latin, preachers had to translate these passages into Old English. In the early 8th century, the Venerable Bede translated in the final days of his life the Gospel of John into Old English. And now certain parts of the Bible was translated, and this guy, right, Venerable Bede, he translated the Gospel of John into Old English, and that was it, right? So we're going on a little more again. The earliest surviving English translation is attributed to King Alfred the Great, who ruled Wessex in the late 9th century. He translated or commissioned translation of Psalms 1 to 50 and the 4 Gospels into the West Saxon dialect and translated Exodus 20 and 3 in the introductory section of his laws. After the Norman conquest, so that is after the French conquered England, right, took over England. After the Norman conquest, the English language changed because French words of Latin origin began to enter the language. The new form of English is known as Middle English, and it is the language of poets such as Chaucer. So now they're showing you the language changing, the dialect changing, right? In the late 20th century, there were metrical translation into the Middle English of individual books of the Bible, notably Genesis, Exodus, and Psalms. So that is what the dealing with, right? And in the early 14th century, the Yorkshire hermit Richard Rolle undertook a prose translation of the Psalms in the northern dialect of Middle English, which is the poetry or the poet's kind of English, as they were saying, right? His sentences read oddly because they follow the word order of the ancient Latin translation of the Bible known as the Vulgate. Compare, for example, the opening of Psalms 23 in Latin of the Vulgate with Rolle's translation. So there's the translation here of the Latin, right? Now, Salakia. The question of the extent of which translation should follow the word order of the origin text was destined to perplex translators for generations to come. Right? So now the saying, what he translated from the Psalms 23 was like this: Lord, govern me with nothing shall me want. Instead of past there he me set. Give me Psalms 23 Bible question. Anybody that have it could read it. So that is what it's saying. That is how his translation from the Latin it sounded, right? So now we're going to go into the King James Version with the Apocrypha and look at the Psalms 23. Now let's read it again. Lord, govern me, and nothing shall me want. Instead of past there he me set. Now, if anybody read that, you have to ask yourself if you understand what he said. If it's making any sense. You understand? But for me, it doesn't make no sense. But when you read the King James Version, then you're going to see what it's saying. Go ahead, Bible question.
From what verse?
Take it from one.
The book of Psalms, chapter 23 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High is my shepherd, I shall not want.
You understand? Now we can understand what he's saying. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my guide. You understand? He's my head. He's saying that he shall not want. You understand? Because of course, when you start understanding more about the Lord, you understand the Lord is like a father. You understand? But now what it's saying here in this translation that he translated, Lord govern me, nothing shall me want. Instead of past there he me set. So it had errors in that Bible, right? So we're going on a little bit again. That also talk about the Tyndale Bible. Let me touch up a little bit about Tyndale. William Tyndale is rightly known as the father of the English Bible. So they're saying he was the father, the first man to write the English Bible, right? The Dutch scholar Erasmus produced an edition of the Greek New Testament, which he published in 1516, together with a translation into Latin, which was the international language of Europe. Tyndale, who was an excellent linguist, he knew Greek, Latin, Hebrew, German, Spanish, and French. Decided to translate Erasmus Greek into English. He resolved in the teeth of bitter opposition to defy the Pope and all his laws, and proclaim rightly that if God spare my life, error many years. So now he's saying that to the Pope, right? See, not to know this language, and he's going to translate the Bible. He's saying that if God spare my life, error many years, I will cause a boy that driveth the plow shall know more of the scripture than thou doest. So he's saying that to the Pope, right? That is in one of his letters to the Pope. He's saying that if the Lord spare life, he's going to translate this Bible so that the common man will know more scripture than the Pope, right? So we're going again. On being refused permission to print his New Testament in English, Tyndale left for Germany, where his Lutheran sympathies made him welcome in Reformed circles. In 1525, he began to print the New Testament in the Catholic city of Cologne. But when the printing house was raided by the authorities, Tyndale fled. All that remains of the historic Cologne printing is a simple copy of the first 22 chapters of Matthew's Gospel, now in the British Library Museum. You understand? So Tyndale had to bust out because the authorities come behind him. Of course, when they say something like that to the Pope, which is quote-unquote authority figure, they go swing for it. You understand? But he never get to finish printing out the Bible and stuff like that. We're going to jump a little more again. The saying is, somehow Tyndale learned Hebrew and embarked on the translation of the Old Testament. It was never completed, and the only parts that were published in his lifetime were the Pentateuch and the Book of Jonah. You understand? So Tyndale Bible, you have to forget that. That is not part of the Bible curriculum. That comes to nothing. Then we come to the Coverdale Bible. Tyndale's most important successor was Miles Coverdale, the former Augustinian friar, who eventually became the Protestant bishop of Exeter. It was Coverdale who, in October 1535, living in exile in Antwerp, published the first edition of the entire Bible in English. As he explains in his dedication to King Henry VIII, Coverdale had, with a clear conscience, purely and faithfully translated this out of 5 sundry interpreters. The most important of the interpreters was Tyndale, whose New Testament is printed in revised form. So he's saying that he successfully translated the Bible, but he took his work from Tyndale, which we just read before, but Tyndale didn't even finish his work. You understand? So you know what's going on there. The most important of the interpreters was Tyndale, whose New Testament is printed in revised form. Tyndale had not, however, published the complete Old Testament, so Coverdale had to assemble and Old Testament from other sources. So now Coverdale started to make his version of the Bible from different sources that he put in together. You understand? Let me go down a little bit more. The eventual challenge to Coverdale's Psalms related to his sources. He knew very little Hebrew. So he's saying that Coverdale didn't really know much Hebrew, you understand, but he wanted to translate Tyndale's book. And so translated the Latin text to the Vulgate, which embodies many readings from Greek version of the Old Testament that are not found in Hebrew, the ancient Greek version. Right? It is known as the Septuagint, which means 70, hence the abbreviation from LXX, which was said to have been translated in Egypt by 72 elders in 72 days. So he's saying that what his work, he knew little Hebrew, and his work was translated by 72 elders in 72 days, which is not no time at all. You understand? Part of his work was also from Tyndale, who didn't even finish sort out his Bible or his version of the Bible. Then they had the Matthew Bible. And in 1573, the publisher, John Rogers, who was eventually to be burned alive for his Protestant faith, produced the first authorized English Bible, the Pentateuch, and the name New Testament were Tyndale's. You understand? So they go on with Tyndale's work again. Right? And Rogers also used Chronicles, and Rogers also used Tyndale's unpublished translations to the Old Testament books from Joshua to 2nd Chronicles. You understand? The rest of the Old Testament and the Apocrypha were taken from Coverdale's version. Tyndale's was a heretic, so he could not be named, but the ornamental initials WT, which would be William Tyndale, appeared at the end of Malachi, immediately before the Apocrypha. Similarly, Rogers is acknowledged only through initials. The name Thomas Matthew, with Rogers choose as a pseudonym, has long been a puzzle. So they're showing it here, even in the Matthew Bible, they had to take work from Tyndale as well. You understand? Which Tyndale work, as we just read, didn't finish. In the Matthew Bible, like the Coverdale Bible, was dedicated to King Henry VIII, but there was a difference, whereas the title page of Coverdale's Bible was adorned with a picture of King Henry VIII distributing Bibles. The title page, the Matthew Bible, went a step further, declaring it to have been printed by the king's most gracious license. The timing was propitious, as the debate was already underway about the desirability and authorizing of English translation of the Bible. As recently as 1530, Archbishop Warham had declared on behalf of the church that translations of the Bible into English could do no good, but could cause much harm. So they didn't want the Bible translated into English coming up from that time, right? The English translation of the Bible continued to be burned. 4 years later, Thomas Cranmer, by now Archbishop of Canterbury, tried to force the bishops to work on a translation of the New Testament, and they either ignored the request or undertook the work grudgingly. You understand? So they either ignored what he was saying or they do it grudgingly, vexedly. So it goes to show even the Matthew Bible, right, that most will talk about, it didn't mean nothing. It's work that repeating itself from other people, right? We have the Great Bible. The task was entrusted to Miles Coverdale, who instead revised his own Bible, undertook a version of the Matthew Bible, as the finest presses were in Paris rather than London. It was decided to use the Paris printing house of Regnault, who had supplied English services books since 1519. Coverdale moved to Paris to prepare the edition of the press. Printing began in May 1538, and in expectation of rapid publication, Thomas Cromwell ordered that a Bible of the large volume in English to be distributed to every parish in England by Christmas 1538. He spoke too soon because the enterprise began to unravel. There was opposition from the English ambassador of France, right, Stephen Gardiner, Bishop of Winchester, and from the Sorbonne, and by mid-December, most of the bound copies had been seized by the Inquisition, and unbound pages had been sold to haberdasser for use in the making of hats. You understand? So that Bible and all failed. They impounded, they confiscated, right? We have a lot to read, but just going through it as fast as possible. Then we come down to the Geneva Bible, the ascension of the The ascension of the resolutely Catholic Queen Mary to the throne in 1553 put an end to the printing of English Bible and to their uses in churches. So she come up on the throne, she put into printing English Bibles, right? Protestants fled from the fiery persecution that she inaugurated with the judicial murder of John Rogers, the publisher of the Matthew Bible. You understand? So she killed the publisher of the Matthew Bible, and most people fled persecution, right? One of the Marian exiles was William Whittingham, later Dean of Durham, who became a senior of the English Church in Geneva. On the ascension of Queen Elizabeth, most of the congregation returned to England, and Calvin suggested that Whittingham became pastor of the Geneva Church. As the pastoral responsibilities eased with the diminution of the congregation, he was able to devote himself to scholarship. He was the powerhouse of the Geneva Bible, translating the New Translation himself, published 1557, and helping to coordinate the translation of Psalms 1559 and the Old Testament. So they're saying that he translated the New Testament by itself, and then he get help publishing the Psalms and the Old Testament, right? The complete Bible was dedicated to Queen Elizabeth. So now they dedicate that Bible to Queen Elizabeth. The Old Testament is largely based on the Great Bible. So the Geneva Bible, the Old Testament section of it was based on the Great Bible, which we just read before. Many of the changes reflect scholarly studies of the Hebrew original and the translation into Greek and Latin. The New Testament also uses the Great Bible, but Tyndale's phrasing is sometimes adopted, and attention is paid to the Latin translation by Theodore Calvin, successor of Geneva. You understand? So you're seeing whereby all these Bibles, it was taken from one another. Some studied and translated it by themselves. You understand? Some did parts of the Bible, and it keep coming down throughout the ages. You understand? If somebody could read this page here, page 86 of the King James of the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, Baba Kusha. Right, so we're going to get the King James Version of the Bible, right?
King James Version. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James.
Right, so when Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown was passed to James, right, which is King James. Go ahead.
Who had been king of Scotland for 37 years.
So he was king of Scotland for 37 years.
As James VI. Several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized a new translation of the Bible.
You understand? So after he sent the throne, he authorized, hey, let me get a new translation of this Bible. That's the king of Scotland. You understand? He ruled for how much years?
37 years.
All right, go ahead.
To replace the Bishop Bible. 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars.
Right, so King James get 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars. Now, when we go back to the book that the suppressor write, that spoke about the King James Bible being the most accurate, right? Look at something here. The Hampton Court Conference. There's a passage in the Bible. The Commission of the King James Version Bible. Hold that 1 minute, right, Professor Shah? Yeah. In the second half of the 16th century, Queen Elizabeth presided over a church that was increasingly divided. The enthusiastic Roman Catholicism of her half-sister Mary Tudor had driven many Protestants abroad in the mid-1550s. And on the continent, they had experienced forms of Protestantism that were deemed purer than English Protestantism, which still retained many ceremonial vestiges in the Catholic origin. So they're saying that her sister, when Queen Elizabeth take over, even his sister, the things that it did was of Catholic origin. You understand? When the exiles returned on the ascension of Queen Elizabeth, they became known as Puritans, which is a sect of religious leaders, right? In 1559, Elizabeth established a Protestant church, but there was a growing minority of Puritans who felt uncomfortable with church governments by bishops. The ceremonialism of the 1552 prayer book and the Queen's attempts to keep ceremonial conservatives on side by advocating traditional vestments reducing a crucifix in her chapel and a larger stage, limiting Puritan preaching. You understand? So she started to organize the church the way she wanted to, and the Puritans, they wanted to do their own thing, right? The firm government of Elizabeth kept the Puritan party in check, so she now always had to make sure that these people don't take over, right? But her death in 1603 and the ascension of James VI of Scotland to the throne of England as James I offered the opportunity to the Puritans to present their views on the new monarch. So now they're talking about King James here, right? So when King James take the throne, he went to the Puritans, who's that different religious sect, to ask the views on the new monarch, right? The petition set up contained more than 1,000 signatures, as known as the Millenary Petition, was drawn up and presented to the king. It centered the issues as popish ceremonies and vestments, married clergy, the requirement that clergy be educated and grounding of doctrine in scripture rather than authority of clergy and the tradition of the church. James loved theological debate and decided to convene a conference for which the agenda would be millenary petition. You understand? So King James come together with the Puritans to see what they wanted. You understand? They keep little debates, they keep little I just going through it fast, right? Keep little debates, they keep little gatherings, but it amount to nothing. So now King James decide with them, because they say they come together to make this new version of the Bible, right? But go ahead from the top again on that one, Baba Kusha.
King James, straight from the top.
Yeah, Baba Kusha.
King James Version. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed it on to King James, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years. As James VI, several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized a new translation of the Bible.
Right, so he authorized a new translation of the Bible, right? Go ahead.
To replace the Bishop Bible.
To replace what?
The Bishop Bible.
So he had to replace the Bishop's Bible. Now remember the Tyndale Bible, the Bishop Bible, Geneva Bible, all these Bibles. When these people tried to translate it, there's some who died, some who didn't finish the work, some who used from other people's work that wasn't good. You understand? So this is what King James did. Go ahead.
47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars.
So the king of the day, King James, he get 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars. Go ahead.
Of the day were divided into 6 groups.
So he divided these Hebrew and Greek scholars into 6 groups. Go ahead.
3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New Testament, and 1 for the Apocrypha.
So he divided these groups, 3 for the Old, some for the New, some for the Apocrypha. Go ahead.
2 of the groups met at Oxford, 2 at Cambridge, and 2 at Westenham.
You understand? So you've seen where these translators, where they come together in these years big universities. Go ahead.
When a group had completed its task, it worked for submitted to 12 men.
So when they finished do their translation, right? Those who translated the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha. When the work was finished, what did it?
Submitted to 12 men.
They submitted to 12 men. So after doing all these homework, they still had to submit it to the next set of people, which was 12 men. Go ahead.
2 from each panel. Final differences of opinion were settled at a general meeting of each company.
You understand? So 2 from each panel, all the little differences were settled. You understand? By this panel of people. Go ahead.
In case of special difficulties, learned men outside the board of revise were consulted.
So still, in case of special difficulties, learned men, which is men who understood the language, the Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, you understand? Learned men were still outside. Read it from the top again, Baba Kosha, that same line, you read it.
In case of special difficulties, learned men outside the board of revisers were consulted.
Right.
Marginal notes were used only to explain Hebrew and Greek words to draw attention to parallel passage.
You understand? So they come together, they did their homework, they draw the references to make sure everything is accurate and everything is correct. Go ahead.
Enlatic words were used for words not found in the original but necessary to complete the sense.
That is like how we go have Easter instead of Passover. They will use words just to bring the sense, just as the saying in scriptures, the necessary sense to the scriptures. You understand? But when you do the homework, do the research, you realize the Easter just simply translates the Pascha, which is Passover. You understand? And when you read the Bible, from the Old to the New, you're going to understand in the Old Testament, they talk about the Lord's Passover. They didn't talk about the Lord's Easter. So you know the correct translation of that Easter, which is mentioned once, is the Passover. Go ahead.
The revisers who had received no financial remuneration for their work completed their task in 2 years.
They completed when?
In 2 years.
And then one of the Bible that we read earlier on, you see where they completed it in 72 days. You understand? But this took them 2 years to complete. Go ahead. That is the reviser. Sorry.
And 9 more months were devoted to a new revision of their work.
And then 9 months again, 9 more months, sorry, they had to revise it with a new panel again. Go ahead.
By a special committee consisting of 2 members from each group.
Go ahead.
In 1611, the new version was published. It did not win immediately universal acceptance, taking almost 50 years to displace the Geneva Bible.
You understand? The reason why it didn't take hold yet is because when you hear to start reading the Bible, right? I wish I could have go through this book a little longer, but for time's sake, you gotta stop. Right? When you start reading the Bible, the things that was written in the Bible, you realize it's not about them. You understand? The laws, the commandments, the statutes for specific people. Now, when you go back in this same book that this oppressor write, you're seeing whereby when they did their services in their church, just like today, the person who reading the Bible, them alone could have read it. So they're reading it in whatever language it was in, however they translate it. But the people that listening, they didn't know what they're talking about. You understand? So now they ain't getting no understanding of what the pastor, what the preacher, what the bishop reading. No difference than what's happening today. You understand? That's the night, right? I'm going to stay just reading the highlighted parts. Okay. You go ahead.
50 years to displace the Geneva Bible in popular favor. In the course of the time, slight alterations were made, especially in spelling, to conform to changing usage, but these were all done piecemeal by private enterprise. Its excellence is shown by the fact that after 350 years, it is still used in preference to any other version in the English-speaking Protestant world for both public and private use.
You understand? So both public and private use, the King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha is the most sought out Bible till today. You understand? Because when people start comparing these Bibles, even to today, what they was watching something and they're showing you whereby the NIV and the next new version of the Bible they bring out, how the passages, whatever passage you're reading from the 2 books, it's totally different. You understand? The husband had one and the wife had one. So she saying, I go reading your NIV, he reading this Bible. So a couple of years, they're going to the book on their own. But then when they started to realize now, wait now, my Bible not saying the same thing your Bible are. You understand? But the King James Version Bible is the most accurate Bible. That Bible was done over 2 years and more to be translated from the Hebrew, Greek, and the Latin text. You understand? King James get the best scholars of the land. So you know that is people well learned in language. You understand? Compared to these other Bibles whereby it's who translating it for the self, who barely knew Hebrew and all these different things. You understand? And as you're reading in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, Bible is the most sought out King James Version Bible. When you go online and type out what is the most read Bible, you're going to see it saying King James Version Bible. You understand? That is the most accurate, and that text, the reason why they had to make it look like it's a book for everybody is because they wanted to have the children of Israel confused. They wanted to have the masses confused so that they could do what? Control everybody. You understand? When that Bible just belongs to one people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that Bible is only for them. That's their government, their history, their culture, right inside it. You understand? That is the night of Zasha. Give me the book of Deuteronomy 7 and 6, Bible Kusha. Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you have to understand that this Bible, the King James Version Bible, is most accurate. No matter what people say. All they just have to do is do a little homework, a little research. You're going to understand this Bible. This Bible is for you. This Bible is your book. When you have it, go ahead, Papa Kusha.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
You understand? So way back when they read the Bible, the people in the church, they didn't understand. They couldn't ask questions. They didn't know who the children of Israel are. They didn't know who the true Jews are. They didn't know who these people that the Lord is speaking about. They're saying that they are holy people. The Lord is telling you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, you are a holy people. Holy meaning separate, Kodash in you. So the Lord is saying, you are a holy people. You are that separate people. Go ahead.
The Lord thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord had chosen who?
Thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord had chosen you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, to be that special people unto himself. That is that possessive way. The Lord is saying, I want you to be that special, separate, that holy people. You understand? So now imagine if King James didn't translate the Bible. You understand? A scene whereby he didn't write it. So when people say King James write the Bible, you can show them King James didn't write the Bible, translate it. You understand? King James didn't translate the Bible. What would that be happening now? Same thing would that be happening, just like the Christian church. They're telling you what I want. But now the Bible translated where the common man, me and you could read it, you could understand it. You understand? Go ahead.
Above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
So above all these other races, above all these other nations, the Lord saying that he wants you to be holy, he wants you to be separate, he wants you to be above all these other nations that are upon the face of the earth. You understand? This is something Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they need to consider. This Bible is your book. This Bible is your history. This Bible contains your heritage. You understand? But if we do not know who we are as a people, we don't understand that this book belongs to us. Of course, we're going to follow the things of these other nations. Jeremiah 17 and 4, Babakosha. We're going to follow the things of these other nations, and we wouldn't know who is our God, we wouldn't know who is our power. We wouldn't even know who is our brothers and sisters. You understand? What we're supposed to be doing as a people, we'll be lost. You understand? But we need to return to the things of the Most High. Go ahead, Babakosha.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage.
The Lord is saying that we as a people, we're going to do what? Discontinue from our heritage. We're not going to continue in the things that the Most High gave to us. You understand? As you read earlier, you've seen whereby the Lord tells us we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And if we don't have the knowledge or the understanding who we are, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Lord is telling us what? We're going to discontinue from our heritage, from the things that he gave us, from our culture. Go ahead.
That I gave thee.
That who?
That I gave thee.
That the Lord gave to us, to his prophet Moses. You understand? Moses laid out in the first 5 books the things that we're supposed to do. You understand? The things that we're supposed to follow as a people. That's what the Lord gave to us. Not Moses. Moses wasn't the one come up with the idea. Lord gave it to Moses and Aaron, and they gave it to us. But the Lord tell us what? We're going to discontinue from our heritage. Go ahead.
I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
I will do what?
I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
These same oppressors that are confused in understanding which book is the right book, which Bible I should hold, the new version, the new King James version, the 400-year anniversary, the NIV. The Lord is telling us he's going to do what? Cause us to serve our enemies. Those that created that tumult. The book of Psalms. You understand? Those that made Israel name be no more remembrance. Those that took crafty counsel against the Lord's people. The Lord saying that he's going to do what? Read it again, Baba Kusha.
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
The Lord is going to cause us to serve our enemies. That's why we discontinue from the heritage of the Musai. We want to follow his laws, his commandments, and his statutes. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
In the land which thou knowest not.
Land of what?
In the land which thou knowest not.
Why the Lord saying the land which we know it not? Because of course these lands that we are scattered in right now, that we were sold for reproach. You understand? This is not our homeland. These lands is not our homeland. Our homeland is in Jerusalem. You understand? Go ahead.
For you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Shall do what?
Shall burn forever.
Kindle a fire in the Lord's anger. We refuse to follow his laws. We refuse to follow his commandments and his statutes. You understand? We kindle a fire against the Most High, which the Lord says is going to do what? Burn forever. Which is going to burn for a very long time. You understand? But blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we as a people, we have to return to the laws of the Most High. These other nations, and their gimmicks and their tricks, then making you feel that these other books is part of what you as a people supposed to be following, is not so. These other cultures that we hold on to, we're not supposed to be holding on to these things. You understand? The Bible belongs to the black man. The prophets in the Bible were black people. Christ was a black man. You understand? Give me the book of Judah, if you could, Baba Pesha, chapter 5, verse 20. You understand? These prophets were black prophets. These prophets were black men. They are from the 12 tribes. These are your people. You understand? But they ain't going to learn that in the NIV. They ain't going to learn that in the New King James Version. They definitely ain't going to learn that in the Christian church. You understand? Go ahead when you have it, Papa Pusha.
Judah 5 and verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be an error against this people.
You understand? So of course, this heathen is talking to his superior, his king, or who is in charge over him, and he's telling them, because of course at that time they wanted to take over the nation of Israel. You understand? And they wanted to know, well, what could we do to make this nation fall, or to take over this nation? And it goes to shows whereby these nations, they study the children of Israel. They understand who the God that they serve. They understand the power that they serve. You understand? So he asking them, well, what we could do to take over this nation. And he's coming up with the solution here now, with the answer. Go ahead. You read it from the top again, Baba Kusha.
Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be an error against this people.
There be what?
An error against this people.
There be an error against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. If we can make them error, if you find out where is this error, go ahead.
And they sin against their power.
They do what?
And they sin against their power.
They sin against their God. Sin is the transgression of the law. You understand? The laws that was given to us by Moses. The Lord is telling us, sin. We as a people, we're not supposed to sin. Once we sin, we transgress that law. So now he's saying, if there is any sin against these people, if these people could transgress these laws that was given to them by their forefathers, go ahead.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Let us now consider, let us now think that this is going to be the destruction of you so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? Where you could learn these laws? In the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana, in this Bible here, the King James Version Bible. But these other nations, they understand once they get the black man, the Hispanic man, the Native Indian man to sin, that is going to be your ruin. That is going to be the demise of the so-called black man, the Hispanic man, and the Native Indian man. Right there is where black people is going to fail once we get them to sin. You understand? Once we could get them to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, black people is going to fail. Smoking weed, black people is going to fail. Once we could get them to abort their babies, you understand, or commit adultery or fornication, black people is going to fail. These other nations, they understand that. So when they look at the television and they see they pushing all this propaganda to make black people fail or to make them commit sin against the Most High, that is what we have to try our best as a people to get away from. That is why we have to return to what the Lord gave us. You understand? Go ahead.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
And now they're going to overcome the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. All these other nations, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Syrian. You know what the condition of black people today? We are the bottom. Because why? We're sinning against the Lord. We're sinning against the Most High. These nations, they understand that when they go through your records, they go through your history. They see, and that is why you're able to say, Dan, if you could get them to sin against their God, consider this is going to be the ruin. These other nations, they understand that. So when they look and they see them pushing all these propaganda of these things that will make you sin against the Most High, once you don't have the understanding, as the Lord said, oh, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, you're going to fail. You understand? But of course, in this book, in this black man book, in this Bible, it shows the way that the black man's supposed to hold on to come out of the condition that he's in. You understand? To overcome these other nations when they're trying to overcome you. We have to hold on to the Lord. We have to hold on to the things that he gave to us. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Verse 21. For if there be no iniquity in their nation.
But if there be what?
If there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them.
You understand? But if we have no sin in our nation, if black people stop aborting babies and committing adultery and smoking weed and all these things, if we could overcome these things, he's telling his superior, he's saying, Dan, if they're not sinning against the Most High, better you leave them alone, better you pass by. You understand? Black people, we have to understand, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to understand the powerful people that we are. We have to understand the powerful rules, laws that is in this Bible. You understand? If we keep up and start following these rules or these laws, you're going to see these other nations starting to fall. You're going to see we rise. You understand? Our nation is going to be to the place where the Most High wanted to be. Now you're going to see the real criminals. If black people stop sinning against the Most High, now you're going to see the real criminals. You're going to see the real drug lords. You understand? You're going to see the real murderers, the real LGBTQs. You're going to see them coming out of these other nations. You understand? If we return back to the Most High. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Lest the Lord defend them, and their God be for them.
Lest the what? The Lord defend them and their God be for them. The Lord is going to defend us. Once they're here, we start doing the things that the Most High wants us to do. The Lord is going to defend us as a nation and as a people once we return to his laws, commandments, and statutes. When you look at the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, the Lord gives you what is going to happen if we follow him and what will happen if we as a nation does not follow him. You understand? We follow him, he's going to get all the blessings that was commanded by him. If we fail to follow him, these is the things that is going to happen to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. When you look at it today, you understand? You've seen whereby we fail to follow the Most High, and all these things that the Lord says is going to happen to us, it's happening to us as a nation and as a people. This is a black man book, because when you look at it, it's happening to the black man. You understand? Nobody cannot deny that this book is not a black man book. Amen. Daniel 10:5, Baba Kusha. This book is a black man book. The curses that befall the children of Israel or befallen black people. You understand? It's right here in this book. You have to understand that the prophets of old, they were black men. You understand? And we as a people, we have to go into the book, just as we read earlier on when it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. We have to go in this book as a nation and as a people and start understanding how to come out of this condition that we're in. You understand? This is not like a Christian church whereby it's just an individual thing, like, yeah, I read in my Bible, so I could. Nah. You gotta go inside there and get the solutions. You understand? How we as a people could come out of this position we're in. What we need to do. And so forth. You understand? Go ahead, Dr. Sasha.
Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then I lift up my eyes and looked.
So Daniel is getting a vision, right? And you see when he lifted up his eyes and he looked. Go ahead.
And behold, a certain man clothed in linen,
Now he's seen a certain man clothed in linen. Go ahead.
whose loins were girded with fine gold of Euphaz.
So his loins, they understand, was good. It was what? Fine gold of Kjva. That is how black people is just like to find this and everything. You understand? And he's showing you whereby our king is good. He's seeing this vision. He's seeing whereby his loins, midsection, is girded with the fine gold of Euphaz. Go ahead.
Verse 6. His body also was like the barrel.
So in this vision, he's showing whereby his body is also like the barrel. He's not talking about his physical body, showing you the garment that he had on. That is why he's seeing in this vision, he's seeing the body, the outline. You understand? It's like the what?
Like a barrel.
Like barrel, which is green. The garment that he had on is green. You understand? Go ahead.
And his feet. And his face.
And his what?
And his
And
face.
it's showing his what? His face. Go ahead.
As the appearance of lightning.
And the appearance of lightning, because the countenance was fierce. Go ahead.
And his eyes as lamp of fire.
And his eyes as what?
As lamp of fire.
Showing you how his eyes was. As lamps of fire. Going on. Yeah, go ahead.
And his arms and his feet like in the color.
And his what?
His arms and his feet like in color to polish brass.
And showing you what? His arms and his feet. Like in what? Color. To polish brass. You understand? And if you do the little research on polished brass, you're going to see it is going to show you that it is brown, a dark brown. Then you know what? The vision that Daniel saw is of a black man in a garment, a green garment, a fierce countenance, and his eyes like lamps of fire. You understand? Go ahead.
And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
And his voice of his what?
And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
That is what Daniel read 10. 10 and 5.
Oh, verse 6 now.
Yeah, verse 6. Give me 7 and 9 now, Baba Christian. Same Daniel, but 7 and 9.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones was cast down, and the ancient of days did sit.
So we've seen where the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit. The ancients of days talking about the Most High. Thrones being cast down with these other nations. You understand? Go ahead.
Whose garments was white as snow.
Whose garment was what?
White as snow.
The ancients of days, the Most High here on what? A garment. Not that fluffy thing that showed that the so-called oppressor or the Caucasian man was wearing. In the picture. That is not God, that is not Jesus. That is Caesar Borgia. It's showing you where the ancients of days have on a garment. If you want to look at garment, go on ispk.com, look at the Passover videos. You see the garments that these brothers have on. You understand? So the ancients of days here are on a white garment. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow. And the hair of his head.
It's what?
And the hair of his head.
Hair on the head. The hair on the ancients of days. Where he did sit, showing his hair on his head. Go ahead.
Like the pure wool.
Like the pure wool. It's showing you the texture of the hair. The pure wool. If you ever look at a sheep, you understand? And you just don't pull the hair on the sheep and this part. We talking about when it started man. You see now that is just like a Negro hair. Just like the black man here, like pure wool. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire.
Understand? It's thrown like fiery flame, and its wheels were going into the chariots or the UFOs. That is another class. You understand? At another time, as burning fire. You're going to see where the prophets, even when they saw the chariots or the wheels of the Most High, where they saw it as burning fire. You understand? So it goes to show the ancients of days. He had garment. He had woolly hair. You see where Daniel had the vision with Christ. You understand? Where you see his feet like unto polished brass. These, the ancients of days, the Most High, you understand? Christ, which is our King, black men. You understand? Give me Job 30 and 30, Baba Koshar. All these prophets are black. This book belongs to you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. This is your Bible. This is your culture. This is your forefathers. You understand? These are the things that we have to hold on to. Teach our children, just like in the book of Moses. The book of Deuteronomy. You understand? Moses commanded us to teach our children and our children's children. We have to hold on to this and give that to them. So when we pass on and we go from here, they continue holding on to what was given to them, which is their culture, their history, their heritage. They will not have to run to these other nations to hold on to things that doesn't belong to them. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Job 30 and verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
My what?
My skin is black upon me.
Even Job is saying, my skin, you understand, is what? Black upon me. Prophet Job was a black man. He wouldn't make that statement if he wasn't black. You understand? You look at all the paintings of the prophets that these oppressors put out, these paintings of white men. The Lord already tell it to his prophets what they're going to do. They laid open the book of the law. You understand? And he then paint the images. They paint the images of the ones that's supposed to be judging the earth. Just paraphrase it. You understand? Give me Revelation 1, Baba Kusha. Let me get a bit on Christ, and I think we go close up for that. These heathens, they paint the images. The prophets already let know what they're going to do. Paint the images white, everything white. So now when our children growing up, or we growing up, our parents before us, we take it from our great-grandparents. They had this image hanging in the house with a white Jesus. Then our parents come and get, then we get, then we go in and pass that to our children. Then we passing all the prophets. You understand? Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Job, Daniel, we passing that on to them like they was white people. You know, when our children, our bloodline see anything white, we gotta give it the utmost respect. You understand? And anything we see black, we fighting it down to the last core. You understand? These are the things that we have to teach our children. The Bible is your book. This is your family. This is your culture. Read it when you have it, Baba Kusha. Yeah, Revelation 1.
1 and 1?
1 and 1, and then you go to 11 to 15, Baba Kusha.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
This is the revealing of the one called Jesus Christ. You understand? Son of Man. Our King. Go ahead.
Which God gave unto him.
Which God gave unto who?
Which God gave unto him to show unto his servants.
Now God gave this to him, which is John, because John is getting this revelation of Christ, what Christ looked like, giving him the revelation of the things to come. You understand? Go ahead.
To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
So he's given unto John to show unto who? His servants, the things that is coming to pass. Go ahead.
And he sent and sanctified it by his angels unto his servant John.
So he gave it unto his servant John. Go to 11, Papa Kusha.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 11. Saying, I am Alpha.
Say what?
I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book.
So he's telling John, what you're seeing, do what? Take record. That's why he's saying, write it in a book. So he's telling John, what you're seeing, make sure you take record. Go ahead.
And send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus,
right,
and unto Simia, and unto
Pergamos,
Pergamos, and unto Thyatira,
Thyatira,
and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto
Laodicea.
Laodicea.
So now you're saying, what you're saying, take record, send it to these 7 churches. You understand? Send it to these other people, which is your family, to show them what Christ looked like, to show them the beginning and the end, to show them the things that is going to happen to Babylon the Great. This is not something to keep to yourself. You have to send it out to the other churches. You understand? Because I want them to know the things that is going to happen. I want them to know what I look like also. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
So now John here, he going to get in the vision, he turned to see who it is talking to him in this vision. Go ahead.
And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
Being turned, he saw what? 7 golden candlesticks. This is what you call here the menorah. So he saw 7 golden candlesticks. So he turned, and he beholds 7 golden candlesticks. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks.
And when he turned, in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, remember the 7 candlesticks will have what? Light. You understand? You will have the candle light in the 7 golden candlesticks. So when he turned, in the midst of it, this is where we start seeing. Go ahead.
One like unto the Son of Man.
One like unto the Son of Man. The Son of Man is who we will call Jesus Christ, or Yahweh in the Hebrew. Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So we saw Jesus or Yahweh clothed with what? That garment down to the foot. Remember the Ancient of Days had a garment. You understand? It's showing you that culture. It's showing you that history. It's showing you that black heritage. It's showing you where the Son of Man had a what? A garment clothed right down to the foot. Go ahead.
And gird about the paps with a golden girdle.
Gird about the midsection with what? A golden girdle. You understand? That is like a war belt. Go ahead.
Verse 14. His head and his hair were white like wool.
Showing his head and his hairs. Why does it say his head and his hairs? His head, meaning the hair on his head, and his hairs, the hair on his face. There was what? White like wool. Showing you white is the color. You understand? Of the hairs on his head and his hair on his face that you see. Like wool, showing you the texture of the hair. The head, his head and his hairs were white like wool. Go ahead.
As white as snow.
As what?
As white as snow.
Go ahead, showing you the color.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet.
And his what?
And his feet.
So his eyes were like a flame of fire, showing you the countenance. And his what? His feet. Go ahead.
Like unto fine brass.
Like unto fine brass, showing you the color of Christ's feet. They're saying it like unto fine brass. Brass is like a derivative of brown. Like fine brown. Go ahead.
As if they burnt in a furnace.
Go so far to say what? As if it was burnt in a furnace, letting you know it was dark. Letting you know so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that what John saw is a black man with a garment clothed down to the foot, with white woolly hair, flaming eyes in the midst of 7 candlesticks. You understand? Your king, Yahweh in the Hebrew. This is what John saw on the Isle of Patmos. You understand? The prophets, Christ, they were black men. When you go to the scripture, you're seeing whereby the angels was black. You understand? It shows you the Ancient of Days also. My 2 Chronicles, Babakosha, 37-39. It shows you the angels also. But we have, as a people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, once you start coming into the understanding of the Bible, you understand? Start coming to the understanding of your culture, we really have to hold on to it. You understand? We really have to hold on to it. We really have to teach our children and our brothers and sisters close wrong than about us. You understand? When you have a read Bible question.
2 Chronicles.
2 Chronicles 6 and 37.
Second Chronicles chapter 6 and verse 37. Yet if they bethink themselves in the land.
Yet if they bethink themselves, who is they that have to bethink themselves? You so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Lord is telling us, if we want to bethink ourselves in the land, go ahead.
Whether they are carried captives and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity.
Whether we are carried captives, because of course, this is not our homeland. You understand? Of course, we were sold to the other nations for bondmen and bondwomen. We were scattered to the four corners of the earth. The Lord is telling us whether, if we bethink ourselves in the land, whether we were carried captive, go ahead.
In the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have done a mess, and have dealt wickedly.
We have sinned, we have done amiss, we have dealt wickedly. Go ahead.
Verse 38. If they return to thee with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Talking about the heart like the way of the Christian churches talk about it. Not talking about the heart, and return to the Most High with all your mind. You understand? You wanting to do the things that the Most High say, hey, you have to do. You understand? Go ahead.
In the land of their captivity.
The land where we are carried captives in Trinidad and Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago. You understand? North, Central, and South America, where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are scattered. Go ahead.
Whether they have carried them captives and pray towards the land.
And they do what?
And pray towards the land.
Whether we are carried captive and pray to our land. Our homeland is in Jerusalem. When we pray facing Jerusalem. Praying facing our motherland. Go ahead.
Which thou givest unto their fathers, and towards the city which thou hast chosen, and towards the house which I have built for thy name. Verse 39. Then hear thou from the heavens.
Hear thou what?
Then hear thou from the heavens.
Then, O Most High, hear from the heavens. Go ahead.
Even from thy dwelling place, their prayers and their supplication.
Hear our prayer. Hear our supplication. When we face the east, we pray. You understand? For the destruction of these other nations, when we pray to destroy the gay movement and the lesbian movement and spies and workers of witchcraft. You understand? When we pray for our nation to come together the way the Lord wanted to be, to bless Israel. Go ahead.
And maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee.
And do what?
And forgive thy people which have sinned against thee.
So he's saying, hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications. You understand? And maintain their cause. And forgive thy people which have what? Sinned against thee. And forgive blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, for we have sinned against the Most High. You understand? We have to return to the Lord. Return back to his laws, commandments, and statutes. We pray, we face the east. You understand? If we bethink ourselves in these places, the Lord is going to hear our cry. The Lord is going to hear our prayer. You understand? Even Deuteronomy 6 and verse 1 to 7, we go look up there. We have to return to the Most High. We have to return to his laws, his commandments, and his statutes. You understand? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whether thou goest to possess it, and had cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Gasherites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the...
Hold on, my bad. Deuteronomy 6, and verse 1. My apologies on that one. 6 and 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes and judgments, which the Lord our God commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whether you go to possess it.
These are the commandments. This Moses speaking and telling us these are the commandments the Lord gave us. When we go in the land, we're going to do what? Do them. Go ahead.
Verse 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God.
That you might what? Fear the Lord thy God. You can't fear the Lord thy God if you don't know the Lord thy God. If you don't know his rules, his commandments, and his statutes. You understand? Go ahead.
To keep all his statutes and his commandments.
What?
To keep all his statutes and his
Go
commandments,
ahead.
which I command thee, thou and thy son, and thy son's son.
Which is our generation, our sons' sons. We have to teach them that. You understand? Go ahead.
All the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged.
Thy what? Our days may be prolonged. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it.
Hear Israel. Hear so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Observe and what? Do it. Go ahead.
That it may be well with thee.
That it may be what?
That it may be well with thee, and that you may increase mightily.
And that ye may increase mightily, talking about the nation and not just talking about one person alone, like how the Christian church have it. You understand? Some of the Christian church, they call gain godliness because they have the feel right, the Lord with me. It's talking about the nation. You understand? Go ahead.
As the Lord God of thy fathers had promised thee in the land that floweth with milk and honey.
Understand that the Lord God had promised our fathers in the land flowing with milk and honey. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
First thing, hear, O Israel, listen to what I'm telling you. You so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. The Lord our God, one God. You understand? You have multiple gods like how the other nations have it. Some are gods for 365 days a year. You understand? Some are gods for the days of the week. The Lord tells us our God, our Lord is one God. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart.
There is something that we have to always remember. It should be in our mind. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently.
Thou shalt teach them how?
Diligently.
Diligently.
Unto thy children.
To your children. Go ahead.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Understand these rules, these laws, commandments, and statutes Moses gave to us. We're supposed to be talking, we're supposed to give this to our children, and this is supposed to be normal, everyday conversation. You understand? I ain't talking it like how the religious leaders have it. You bounce up a brother, you bounce up, you know what I mean, a virgin, whatever the case might be. These are the conversations that you're supposed to be having. You understand? As blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we as a people must return to the rules that the Most High gave to us. You understand? Rules, the laws, commandments, and statutes. If we don't return to the Most High rules, laws, commandments, and statutes, we're going to remain at the bottom. You understand? Just as the Christians they say, but we waiting on the Lord. They will stay there and wait on the Lord. You understand? But the Lord waiting on you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, to get yourself right. You understand? With that, the class, the priest and officer, that's all. I think it's 3%. Yeah.
Security announcement. We are the ISPP case that the 1 West of the 25th Street of New York and the Commander General. Beautiful brothers and sisters. What a new brother or sister coming to the school, they are offering it for 6 months. They are basically doing they have to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, the brother or sister and the just a person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to our brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will report each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew and it's pronounced Ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of the increase the Lord gives you, you give to the church department or teacher. Priest fund, fuel offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give, a common home convocation, right, is the memorial of the blowing of trumpets, and that is on Sunday the 25th, Sunday the 21st of September 2025 at sundown. You can find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 24 to 25. Right? We're active between brothers and I'm active between sisters to check on social media such as ISPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISPK events and materials. But brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then it's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, headband, and stuff. That's like imagine, which means the term. Right, the panya for them. Right, sir. The term face these, city Lord's prayer in you. Our now. Shama Shama. Badash. Yeah. Shamka. How. Alakata. Ba'a. Zaka. Yeah. Aisha. Arat. Wa. Yeah. Mashmai. Tan. Nawa. Akam. Ka. Wom. Maslak now. What now? Maslak. What now? Ba'a. Aina. But I was Bob or Shine, Yan, Ya, Aka, Malakwa, Parat, we just said in English, our Father, I'll be thy name, our kingdom come, and will be done, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. So here's the third. Right, Madam Bishop, you can give this teacher one good salute. Madam Bishop, Madam Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Shabbat, Yahweh Hashem, Shagat, Patam. Yadimata, South with the third, you're going to give sisters online a salute. Madam Bishop, Madam Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yadimata, Smith.